Good evening, councillors, officers, members of the public in attendance and our viewers live streaming tonight's Hearing of Submissions Committee meeting. My name is Councillor Suzanne Newton. I'm the Mayor of Darebin City Council and the chairperson of tonight's meeting. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to tonight's meeting, and I declare this meeting open at 6:04 p.m. This meeting is a scheduled hybrid meeting, and I believe that we'll be welcoming Councillor Lawrence, possibly, and any members of the public who are attending online. This meeting is being live streamed and a recording will be made available on the council website as soon as practicable after the meeting. I'll first like to start by acknowledging that we're meeting on the lands of the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people, the traditional owners of this land, and pay my respects to elders past and present, and I recognise their continuing connection to land, water and culture. Last week in Reconciliation Week, Ruben Berg asked people to commit to supporting treaty, and I do commit to supporting treaty for Victoria. I'd like to introduce the councillors and senior staff who are with us this evening. I don't see Councillor Tim Lawrence yet, the Deputy Mayor, so I assume he's an apology. We have Councillor Dimitriadis, I assume, is on the way. Councillor Gaetano Greco is with us, Councillor Tom Hannon, Councillor Trent McCarthy, Councillor Susan Rennie, Councillor Julie Williams, and we do not have Councillor Messina as of yet. Our officers in attendance tonight are Peter Smith, our CEO, Kylie Bennett, the General Manager of Community, Anna Giampiccolo, the Acting General Manager, Customer and Corporate, Rachel Olivier, the General Manager of Infrastructure, Operations and Finance, Vanessa Petrie, the General Manager, City Sustainability and Strategy, Jodie Brodrib, the Coordinator Governance Services, and I'd also like to give a warm welcome to Felicity Walsh, our Acting Manager of Corporate Governance. And I have no formal apologies for tonight. And I'll next go on to disclosures of conflicts of interest. Councillors and officers, do we have any conflicts of interest or interest to declare tonight? No. Okay, if any motion or amendment arises during the meeting that gives rise to a conflict, I request the councillor advise me at this time. And we will now confirm the minutes of the previous Hearing of Submissions Committee meeting. Councillors, could I please have a mover of a motion to adopt the minutes of the Hearing of Submissions Committee meeting, which was held on the 11th of December? Councillor Williams, seconded by Councillor Rennie. And I'll put that motion to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. I'll now go on to Council's occupational health and safety responsibilities. Darebin Council has an occupational health and safety responsibility to ensure anyone attending tonight's meeting feels safe, both physically and emotionally. It's great to see everyone here this evening, and I'd like to remind everyone in attendance to be respectful of each other as outlined in the governance rules. Please note the following. A councillor or any other person who addresses a meeting must do so in a courteous and respectful manner and must take direction from the chairperson whenever called on to do so. Any member of the public physically attending a meeting must not utter any offensive, indecent, insulting or objectionable item or words, including words that are racist, sexist or homophobic, or interject or gesticulate offensively in the council chamber. Silence must be preserved by the gallery at all times during the meeting, other than by a person in the gallery who's invited to address the meeting. If any member of the public engages in conduct that is improper or disorderly, the chairperson may direct that person to cease their conduct, and the person must comply with that direction. We will now go on to the consideration of reports. Item 6.1, the hearing of submissions on the draft 24-25 budget and associated documents and renewal of the special rate levies. Councillors, before we continue, can I please request you ensure your microphones remain off or on mute unless you're speaking? And we'll move on to the matter before the committee. Tonight, we're hearing verbal submissions from members of the community on priorities you feel are important to you. All written and verbal submissions will be considered and help inform the preparation of the draft 24-25 council budget, which will be presented to council on the 24th of June for consideration. We have 18 submitters in the audience wishing to be heard this evening, and each submitter will have up to 2 minutes to speak in support of their submission. And I remind councillors and those viewing online that this evening is simply about the hearing of these submissions, and we won't have questions from councillors, and no decisions on these matters will be made tonight. And councillors, please direct your questions to officers after the meeting. And first we will hear from community members who have made submissions on the draft 24-25 budget. We have 16 submitters for this item, so when I call your name, please come to the lectern to make your submission, or if you're joining from Zoom, please turn on your microphone and camera to address the committee, and you'll have 2 minutes to make your submission. So our first presenter is Kath Skidmore. Would you like to come to the lectern? No, Kath, that's okay. We'll go back to her. Do we have Matt Heafield here? Matt, please make your 2-minute submission. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Councillors and Darebin City staff. My name's Matt Hayfield and this evening I'm representing Northcote Cricket Club. I stand before you today with a proposal that embodies the spirit of community, health and growth. It's a proposal that seeks not just to build a sporting pavilion, but to cultivate opportunities and enrich the lives of residents. Today I speak to you about the vital need to commence the planning phase of Bill Laurie Oval Sporting Pavilion. Northcote Cricket Club on West Garth Street in Northcote was established over 120 years ago and has stood the test of time in the Darebin community, providing an outlet to residents and a green space for the broader community. The sporting landscape in Melbourne continues to change, but the one thing that is undeniable is that sport brings people and communities together. As representatives of this vibrant and diverse community, it is our duty to ensure that we provide spaces and facilities that promote healthy lifestyles, social interaction and the pursuit of excellence in sport. A sporting pavilion is not merely a structure, it's a hub of activity and a nucleus around which our community can rally and symbol of our commitment to the well-being of our citizens. Imagine a place where children can learn the values of teamwork, disciplines through organised sports. Picture families coming together to cheer their loved ones on, creating memories that will last a lifetime. Envision athletes honing their skills in a space equipped with modern amenities, enabling them to reach their full potential. This is the promise that a sporting pavilion holds for our community. However, such a project cannot come to fruition without the necessary support and investment from this council. I urge you to consider the long-term benefits of a sporting pavilion would bring to our community. Did you know Cricket Victoria award a medal to the women's player of the best women's player in the Premier League competition? Let's call it the Brownlow. It's named the Una Paisley Medal. Una played for Northcote Cricket Club in the 60s and 70s. She was a trailblazer for Australian cricket and women's sports. She was a Darebin resident. Today, Northcote Cricket Club does not have a women's team because of the standard of our current facilities. The core of North Melbourne is in desperate need, the North Core of Melbourne is in desperate need of female-friendly community cricket club with links to high-performance cricket. We currently have talented Darebin cricketers travelling all over parts of Victoria to chase their dreams. We have an opportunity to provide this dream in their own backyard.
That's time, Matt.
Did
you want to have the last sentence?
Yep. Our proposal tonight is to bring forward a very small part of next year's allocation into this year's budget, a very small part, so we can commence the planning of the Bill Laurie Oval redevelopment for the following years to come.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Matt. And our next speaker is Ruth Jelly. Ruth, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. I wonder if we can seek the lead with the meeting. The email that was sent around informed that we would have up to 5 minutes, and I've got about 3.5 minutes.
Let me check that. Hang on.
Thank you. If I can provide a handout while you're checking with that if I can provide a handout to councillors.
Ruth, what I'm going to do is, my understanding was that it was 2 minutes per submission, and I gave Matt 2.5 minutes and the chance to have an extra sentence. So just so that I'm as fair as I can be to everyone, I'm going to give everyone 3 minutes, just so that we can hopefully have an opportunity to say what you want to say, but we're doing it in a timely manner. So Ruth, and every speaker, you now have 3 minutes. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mayor Newton. My name is Ruth Jelly. I'm a resident of Northcote and I'm representing Streets Alive Darebin this evening. I pay my respects to the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nations, on whose unceded lands we live, work, study and play. Our written submission, that hopefully you've got in front of you, calls on Council to prepare for the rollout of accessible tram stops along High Street by undertaking the following. Design and planning, including preparing designs for separated bike lanes to improve safety for all road users. Wider footpaths and pedestrian-friendly design to enable people of all ages and abilities to easily access shops and services. And take the opportunity to improve intersection safety along this corridor. These actions all support Council's transport strategy, which was unanimously adopted in 2022. The objectives of the transport strategy include improving local accessibility and promoting sustainable transport modes, including cycling and public transport. And within this strategy, the Strategic Transport Framework Plan designates High Street as a key cycling corridor and primary pedestrian route from Northcote all the way up to Reservoir. This means that Council considers High Street to be an important cycling route through Darebin, as well as being the highest pedestrian activity along the corridor. And therefore, that Council is committed to prioritising pedestrian movement and safety. High Street is also designated as a primary multimodal street, meaning that while it is used for a mixture of transport modes, Council has committed to prioritising movement and access for public transport users, while also accommodating residents who walk and cycle. Streets Alive Darebin therefore calls on Council to allocate funds to these commitments and ensure that its budget aligns with its long-term transport strategy. We note, I'm going to move on. Within this budget, Council can have the opportunity to demonstrate a real commitment to helping residents to walk, ride and use public transport safely and easily. The last 3 years has seen a decline in the Capital Works budget allocations for footpaths and cycleways. The budget forecasts since 2019 have painted a rosy picture of future investment in footpaths and cycleways in Darebin for the current financial year and the next financial year. However, in reality, as the time approaches to actually commit to that investment, the forecasts and the actual annual spend fall well below what was predicted. Even factoring in the financial impact of the pandemic on council operations, there has been a significant decline in budget allocation for walking and cycling. Back in 2021 and 2022, council forecast a budget of over $6 million. That's dropped by 50% in last year's budget and has dropped even more in this year's budget. It has also been noted that this year's budget has dropped $50,000 from the cycleways and footpaths budget, while roads budget has increased by nearly $1.5 million. If our analysis of the budget papers is incorrect, thank you. We call on Streets Alive, we call on Council to arrest the decline in the Capital Works budget for footpaths and cycleways. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ruth. I'll now go to Max Taylor. Please come to the lectern. Thank you, Max. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Good afternoon, Mayor and councillors. As an autistic person and as a carer for my autistic partner, I speak here tonight on behalf of the over 1,500 autistic Darebin citizens who currently receive no support or recognition in the proposed budget. I put forward a suggestion that sensory spaces should be created in council buildings such as libraries, youth spaces and leisure centres to support autistic people and their carers to access community safely and confidently. A sensory space is a room accessible for neurodivergent people that has dimmed lighting, low noise, low scent, and is a safe area to recover from overstimulation. Sensory spaces can include supports like beanbags, sensory lighting, and sensory tools. Adding sensory spaces to libraries, leisure centres and youth spaces could be as simple as adapting existing small rooms by dimming or covering lights, adding comfortable places to sit, and providing some sensory tools. Sensory rooms have many documented benefits, including reducing distress, preventing autistic meltdowns, and being a safe space for autistic people and carers. I submit that creating sensory spaces in council-owned businesses, i.e. libraries, leisure centres and youth services, would be an effective support for neurodivergent citizens and would follow some of the progress that Preston Library has made by creating sensory maps, a sensory story time and social stories for autistic visitors. With sensory spaces available, more autistic people would be able to access important services and attend local events without the risk of overstimulation or meltdowns. As an autistic member of Darebin's youth jury, I have heard from many neurodivergent young citizens who desperately need safe spaces provided by council. This is supported by the youth jury's Our Vision document, which highlights neurodivergence as a key topic that council needs to engage with. Last month, I was lucky enough to engage with a group of neurodivergent young people to co-design a new social group named NeuroConnect. In my discussion with the group, participants spoke of a lack of services for neurodivergent people and of their struggles accessing community services and events. I've also recently joined Darebin's Disability Advisory Committee, where I've had similar conversations about the lack of support for neurodivergent citizens. On a more personal note, I have experienced firsthand the challenges of having an autistic meltdown in council buildings and having nowhere safe to go. I entreat council to consider options for embracing neurodiversity support as an action going forward. I suggest that council engage in consultation with libraries, youth services and leisure centres to see where the creation of sensory spaces might fit with existing disability access goals and to estimate the costs of transforming existing small rooms into sensory spaces. I also suggest that when creating sensory spaces, a group of autistic individuals and carers should be consulted to make sure that these spaces meet community needs. Thank you.
Thank you for your submission, Max. I will next go to Amelia Tromp. Please come to the lectern. Amelia, please go ahead. You have 3 minutes, and I see you've got your props.
Yes, we do. Good evening, Mayor and councillors. My name's Amelia and this is Bridget, and we are the co-founders of Project Stationery, and we're here this evening to ask Darebin Council for the funding to continue our project for 2024-2025. We note that under the Council's Strategic Direction 3, Climate, Green and Sustainable, that the Council has an allocated budget to support community-led programs under the Climate Emergency and Environment Service area. Project Stationery is one such community-led program. Established by concerned residents in the City of Darebin in 2023 to address the ongoing issues of stationery wastage in schools. It is a 100% volunteer-run, not-for-profit initiative which seeks to generate greater shared concern about the issue and contribute to more sustainable practices to help reduce landfill and influence a more circular economy. And Bridget's just going to tell you a bit more.
Over the summer of 23-24, Project Stationery partnered with our local community to coordinate the collection of excess stationery from schools and families. Donated supplies were sorted by a team of incredible volunteers and then rehomed with various charities, community groups and families who are embarking on the new school year. Project Stationery was run out of a self-funded rental space located in the grounds of the Alphington Farmers Market. Having demonstrated proof of concept and having witnessed the incredible community interest in our initiative via the more than 40,000 stationery items that were donated, please have a look at the data that we've got in front of you there. We're planning to repeat this initiative at the end of this year. In order to do so, we will require a larger rental space to enable us to coordinate the drop-off, sorting and distribution of donated stationery supplies. Our previous space was almost outgrown in the very first week of our operation this year. Project Stationery would like to request Darebin Council support with rental and administrative cost assistance of $7,000 for a suitable space from November 24 to February 25. We are seeking funds to pay for this, to pay for a facility approximately 15 metres by 10 metres in the Alphington Fairfield area, as this is where the initiative has built a community profile and generated a strong local volunteer base, which will be essential for our continued success. In addition, we've developed strong partnerships with Fairfield Primary School and many other local educational facilities, such as kindergartens, primary and high schools, etc. And we would like to capitalise and build on these relationships.
And as you will see from the infographic in front of you, The numbers of stationery, it was quite mind-blowing. And before we finish, we'd like to show you an example of a box of stationery. It wasn't uncommon for one single family to bring a huge box like this, filled to the brim, just of writing materials. They all shared the same concern about the excessive stationery ordering at schools. So please read our report. We did a survey of the community, and there's a lot of information in the report that, we'll tell you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amelia.
Thanks.
That's time. And the next person we have is Richard Cosway. Please come to the lectern. Thank you. Richard, you've got 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor, Councillor and staff of Darebin City Council. My name is Richard Cosway. I'm President of Lakeview Tennis Club in Reservoir, and I'm here to raise awareness tonight and Council support for some desperately needed capital investment in lighting for Lakeview Tennis Club. We're a proud working class club. It's over 50 years old, located on the north side of Edwards Lake. Our members reflect the diversity of the area, representing over 50 ethnicities from some of the most disadvantaged areas of Darebin. We've worked tirelessly to get more girls and women involved in tennis through the This Girl Can program and by running social tennis nights exclusively for women as well. Our club's seen incredible membership growth of over 200% in the last couple of years, making us one of the largest clubs in the Darebin area. Much of this success can be credited to the amazing and tireless work of parents and committee members who work tireless hours to maintain the courts and facilities. But sadly, our facilities are very run down. In particular, our court lighting is old halogen lighting, which was installed in the 1960s. It's environmentally unfriendly, it's really expensive to run, and it's no longer possible to replace replacement globes for these. 2 of our courts don't even have lighting at all, which has limited our club's ability to run coaching and field night competition teams. Our situation's become so dire that we've been forced to pay for courts at neighbouring tennis clubs just to accommodate our teams. A lighting upgrade to convert our outmoded halogen lights to LED ones is desperately needed. This will not only bring us into line with other sporting clubs in the area, but also drastically reduce our bills and our carbon footprint as well. We've put together a development proposal with costings, which is available for your perusal. To achieve this, according to the quoting that we've received, we need about $200,000 to install lighting as well as retrofit the existing lighting we have. The club stands ready to contribute $20,000 to this, and Tennis Victoria has a grant of $40,000 available to us once the initial capital is raised. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Richard. I'll go on to Mark Goody. Please come to the lectern. Thank you, Mark. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Newton, Darebin Councils, members of the Darebin Council Executive and Council officers. My name is Mark Goody, CEO of Mary Outreach Support Services, a homeless support provider commencing in Darebin some 35 years ago and delivering homeless support across the northern regions of Melbourne. Our proposal, in collaboration with Darebin Council, is aimed at confronting the pressing issue of crisis accommodation for small families within our community. Currently, homeless families in our area face displacement into hotels and motels. This not only perpetuates a cycle of trauma for adults, but also inflicts profound emotional and developmental harm upon children. They suffer heightened levels of trauma, separation anxiety, and disruption in schooling. Our solution: we propose the establishment of a small community of portable housing units, specially tailored to provide dignified, sustainable accommodation for small families experiencing homelessness. This is instead of using hotels in the current homelessness triage system. Our timeline is 4 to 5 months setup. It's a 5-year project duration. We have already sourced portable units and costings. Each of them are 6.3 by 5.85 metres, plus a portable side office. The funding, we've tentatively secured $350,000 from a bank, so for council, this will be a no cost down. It will be a partnership that we'll be seeking to set up and build. Families who secure one of these on-site homes will receive comprehensive case management and support services from MOS. This will include specialised MOS Bright Start program, prioritising the educational and emotional wellbeing of children experiencing homelessness. And this will take them out of that hotel-motel system. I have provided packs for everyone just so you can see what programs I have proposed or we do run, and also the portable properties. The benefits this creates a supportive community environment that is case managed to assist in securing a permanent housing outcome. It mitigates the adverse effects of temporary crisis accommodation completely and ensures accessibility to essential services and resources, and provides a stable and supportive environment, breaking the cycle of homelessness. So Moss seeks Darebin Council's commitment to provide suitable land for a 5-year project. So this is at a loan, at a peppercorn lease, and some planning assistance. Moss will be able to project manage the rest of the project, and this will help us to create a supportive environment for homeless families, bypassing hotels and motels. At the project's conclusion, the land will be returned to council. The impact, approximately 24,000 clients supported daily, including 5,900 children across the north currently in Melbourne. We help to reach over 200 families, making a significant impact on our families, on the most vulnerable community members. I have provided stats in your packs. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present.
Thank you very much. And we'll go on to Carly Demont. Please come to the lectern. Thank you, Carly, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor, councillors and Darebin employees. I'm here tonight to ask that you return the tree replacement due to development fee for high retention value trees back to the tree amenity value formula. This formula was last used by Darebin in the 2021-22 financial year. This formula calculates the value of a tree based on its size, species, condition and location. And revenue from this fee is used for tree planting by the council. 6 months ago, La Trobe University cut down a large volume of large in size gum trees from their Kingsbury Drive and Plenty Road site. A conservative estimate calculates the value of these trees at $410,000, although likely it was closer to $1 million. Because this formula was not in place, it is likely that La Trobe only paid $1,200 for this privilege. Please return the tree amenity formula to ensure that future development is appropriately deterred from cutting down trees, and they find alternatives that are both better for the environment and also the urban heat island effect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carly. And we'll go on to Serena O'Malley. Please come to the lectern. Serena, you have 3 minutes.
Thanks, Mayor. I have 2 submissions. I'll start with the first one, which is in respect of live streaming. The current Darebin Council live stream system offers a poor quality experience for residents, hindering transparency and accessibility, which are core values of local government. I would like to see Darebin Council allocate funds to investigate and implement a new webcasting platform for council meetings. Such a platform would improve the resident engagement with meetings through features like simultaneous display of motions and councillors as they engage in debate, a linked table of contents for easy navigation between agenda items and the matching chapter in archived meetings. This is obviously after the meeting has been recorded, and recording directly onto the council website, which would meet its statutory requirements as opposed to YouTube videos. There are many Victorian councils that utilise cost-effective webcasting solutions, such as the City of Yarra, and you can have a look at the City of Yarra archive to see what a superior service they have compared to what we have at City of Darebin. And I have been told that the cost of that service is only about $33,000 per annum, which I think is definitely worth the money. It's a deeply unpleasant thing trying to watch Darebin Council meetings from home. Thanks. So I'll just move on to the next one. So The Reimagining Ruthven Master Plan was adopted in June 2020, around 4 years after the site was purchased from the state government, and that was off the back of a community campaign. Implementation of the master plan includes the need to run a program of continuous Indigenous tree, shrub and flower planting. Yet Wat Gambo Park has not been given a budget line for rewilding, other than previously for the area around the playground. In recent years, it has had to be gifted plants from Friends of Edwards Park Lake and Darebin Council's street tree planting program instead of having access to its own supplies. It's unclear whether anyone is referring to the planting guides which were provided by Darebin Nature Trust when these trees are being provided. There does not appear to be any reference to any ongoing Indigenous planting in the budget papers in relation to Wat Gambo Park, and the Capital Works budget has allocated a tiny sum of $120,000 for rewilding to more than a dozen other parks as follows. They are Edwards Lake Park, All Nations Park, Clements Reserve, Mary and Edgar Creek Corridors, KP Hardiman, Scott Reserve, John Cain Memorial Park, Ray Branham Gardens, Newman Reserve, Keon Park Children's Hub, Cypress Court, McLeod, Springthorpe, AG Davis Reserve, TW Blake Reserve, Turner Reserve, WK Larkins Reserve, Environmental Volunteer Sites and Cheddar Road Median. There's no explanation why Wat Gambo's not in the list, but even so, even if it were in the list, $120,000, I'm dumbstruck that council would allow such a small amount for rewilding. I thought we were supposed to be doing massive rewilding across the municipality. So I believe that sum should be bumped up to at least $1 million. There's also no budget line item for the ephemeral wetland, which is supposed to be going into Wat Gambo Park. And so I'm asking for money to be put towards the ephemeral wetland as well, and towards a community consultation and planting day to discuss the ephemeral wetland concept plans before they're formally adopted by council. I'd just say again, these sorts of parks require stewardship, and we did the master plan. There should be somebody oversighting that master plan and making sure that it happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Serena. I'll go on to Matthew Gulyemi. Please come to the lectern. Thank you. And you have 3 minutes.
Yep. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, councillors, for the opportunity to present to my submission. I live in the northeast corner of Reservoir. I've lived there, been a resident there for just over 14 years. And I'm advocating that the council put funding towards redevelopment. That's a complete redevelopment of the Reservoir Leisure Centre. And just want to make note of the following points. Look, Reservoir is essentially a very growing population where young families are moving to. As per the stats that are on the Darebin website, it comprises of 52,000 residents of about 17,000 families, and it is in the, I would say, the lowest socioeconomic area in the whole of Darebin. It's the largest suburb in the municipality. There's a clear need for a new 50-metre pool to be built at the Reservoir Leisure Centre. I know if you just casually walk around Reservoir, you note that most of it is covered in concrete, is without adequate tree coverage. So that creates a heat desert sort of effect, and there's no respite from the heat. So building a new 50-metre pool would provide some respite from the heat for residents in Reservoir. We need a state-of-the-art aquatic and leisure centre because the current centre is really no longer fit for purpose. It needs a complete rebuild and not just a simple overhaul. Generally, there are higher health needs in the northern part of Darebin, and I note that just generally in the council plan for some time, there was a priority to putting plans towards the Reservoir Leisure Centre, but there's been very little done to progress on that. And I've lived in the area for 14 years and I've noticed that. So really, I'm just want to advocate to ensure that in the next budget, that preliminary work is put forward to fund to progress the rebuilding of the Reservoir Leisure Centre and to allocate money to commence work and concepts and plans. Thank you for the opportunity to present to my submission.
Thank you very much, Matthew. We'll go on to Rebecca Gray. Please come to the lectern. Thank you. Rebecca, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to present our idea to Darebin Council for the 2024-25 budget. While I'm here on my own tonight, I'm representing a group of 149 local residents who in 2023 signed a petition seeking Darebin Council to commit major improvements at A.G. Davis Park, which we colloquially call Wood Street Park. Council has previously responded to the concerns of the community by adding some additional logs for nature play, some very small shrubs, and ensuring the path to the accessible swing is now accessible for wheelchair users, but we feel this is not enough. We feel that Darebin Council not only has a great opportunity, but also a great obligation to invest funding in quality park facilities north of Bell Street. As you have all heard from many residents, there has been substantial investment in recreation facilities in the southern part of Darebin. However, we're yet to see similar investments north of Bell Street. Making a significant investment in A.G. Davis Park would clearly support Darebin Council to deliver on its vision of creating vibrant and dynamic spaces and amenities and ensuring one Darebin with no suburb left behind. These pillars are currently not an accurate reflection of the distribution of quality parks and playgrounds which are mainly congregated south of Bell Street. Making these commitments would also help Darebin Council to meet Action 3 of its 10 big actions, because currently residents drive their cars to access quality park facilities, including outside of Darebin. Improving the amenities is becoming more urgent as Darebin Council approves additional densification of housing in the area, particularly in the activity zones, but does not appear to be reinvesting in creating appropriate and quality parks. While Darebin Council receives funding from developers through the Development Infrastructure Levy and the Community Infrastructure Levy, as residents, it's not clear we're seeing this reinvested in our communities. Green spaces matter for our physical health and our mental health, and they're really important community infrastructure. And this includes adequate shade at all parks. In Preston, the result of poor public playgrounds and facilities is that people don't attend parks as much as they used to, and people now often drive to other parks that are better shaded and which have better amenities, resulting in more emissions, more petrol, more traffic, and less human, resident and social connections at local parks. We understand that managing a budget, particularly in this tight fiscal period, is difficult. For this reason, in the 2024-25 Council budget, we would like to see a draft 4-year capital works program that clearly articulates a forward 4-year pipeline of which parks will receive funding for open space, play space or park asset renewal, and that this should include ongoing investment in green spaces and play spaces that are north of Bell Street. In the short term, this should include community consultation to understand what the community wants and additional shade. In the longer term, this should include developmentally appropriate play equipment, nature play elements, additional planting, additional shelter and covered structures for picnics, and a revamp and relocation of the toilets. It's your opportunity to really deliver on your vision, the pillars and actions as a council. These should not just be a set of documents gathering dust on a shelf, but really drive where investment is made in our community. Thank you,
Beck. That's time. We'll now go on to, is Carlos Abdallah in the audience? No. Okay, we'll go on to Zach Gurevsky. And Whitlam, come up to the lectern, please. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, councillors and staff of the City of Darebin, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to our submission. My name's Zach Gurevsky. I'm a board member with the Northern Bull Ants Football Club. I think it's safe to say the Northern Bull Ants Football Club has had a storied and long 142-year history, and during that period has obviously enjoyed some, like many sporting clubs, enjoyed many highs and lows, and most recently in 2021 post a very difficult period for sporting clubs with the impact of COVID, has returned to its historical Bull Ants name in that period. Our home is at Preston City Oval, literally around the corner from these chambers, and it's, for us, it's a cultural and historical icon. The facility is home not only to the Northern Bull Ants, but also to the Northern Knights, Preston Cricket Club, the Darebin Falcons, as well as the Northern Football League Northern Football Netball League finals games that are played there annually. Despite minor upgrades that were done in 2010 to 12, facilities are now well worn and no longer adequate in size or quality. The Bull Ants Board has commenced the development of a venue improvement plan, otherwise known as a master plan, which is being funded by the AFL. So we're engaging with other key stakeholders to assist in us improving the quality of facilities there. However, our major concern relates to the quality of the sports field lighting at Preston City Oval. That's a significant concern for us from a safety and wellbeing perspective for our players, coaches and staff, with recent injuries to a number of our players. And I'll share with you a really brief example in the interest of time around the request we had this last weekend. In fact, yesterday afternoon at around 3 p.m, Channel 7 was broadcasting the game against Carlton. Many of our councillors were in attendance there, and thank you for that. The request was made to turn on the lights because they were concerned about the quality of the lighting of the game was being played in. We had a chuckle and clearly explained to them very clearly that the lighting, which is currently at between 25 and 27 lux, would not have absolutely any impact on their broadcast. And so we're clearly working towards trying to improve that situation. The one thing I did want to highlight really quickly is really over the last 12 to 18 months, the club has undergone significant regeneration. We sought to rebuild our brand and the connection with our local community. We've appointed a number of new board members, and these days we have 1/5 female representation on our board. And we're committed to building strong and robust community engagement, demonstrating the importance of sport, education, inclusion and multicultural connection. And I hope yesterday's showing with our partnership with Project Us Foundation supporting the underprivileged families particularly in the northern corridor of Melbourne was one such example. We have a number of other examples, but again, in the interest of time, I won't go there. The last point that I will make, the board is seeking support from council. We've been working with council for the last couple of years. We understand that a detailed field lighting design has recently been submitted to council. Estimated cost of that is about $900,000. We're not seeking that quantum at this point. What we're seeking, that would actually give us 300 lux lighting. We're seeking support for the minimum required lighting to enable us to train safely at that facility, whether that be between 100 and 150 lux, and with an option to try and upgrade that to 300 lux into the future, with funding to be sought from the AFL, state and federal governments. And one final point, sorry, just to say we are withdrawing our request for funding for temporary lighting for this season, with the solution that's been found for us to train on Wednesday nights at Bill Laurie Oval. So thank you to council for that initiative.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Whitlam. Thank you. We'll now go on to Christina Di-Domenico from Diverse. Thank you.
Mayor, with apologies for not saying so earlier, I believe I may have a conflict on this one, so I might step out.
Sure. Christine, I'll just wait for Councillor Reading to leave the room and then I'll go over to you. Please go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Craig Liddell and I are here from Diverse and Reservoir Neighbourhood House to share with you the impact of the complex support program and the need for continued investment. In the 2 years this program has run, it has supported 1,000 community members with complex, tough and multiple issues and unmet support needs. How does the program work? We have an experienced social worker, Caitlin, employed by Diverse. People can drop in to see her at Diverse, Reservoir Neighbourhood House in the East Preston Community Centre, call her or are referred by our workers and other organisations. Unusually, people can bring any issue to this program: family violence or breakdown, child safety, housing, mental health, alcohol and drug use, social isolation, financial and legal matters and more. Caitlin talks with people about what's going on, sorts out with them what they want and need, and then together they take action to improve the situation. The program uses a strengths-based and holistic approach and provides counselling and tailored advice, advocacy, warm referrals and support, which can be one-off or over multiple sessions. What's the impact of this program? It builds people's capability and confidence to engage with services and to self-advocate. It improves their health and well-being and builds organisational capacity. Our written submission contains examples, and I'll ask Craig to share some more with you.
Sure, thanks, Christina. So many of the people that Caitlin supports do not have family or friends that they can turn to for support when life gets tough. Through the program, people are not alone in dealing with their personal situations, reducing stress among community members and providing positive social connectedness and mental health. The program operates in places of trust and safety. The people who access the program have highly complex social and emotional needs. They need time to build trust in a place that they feel safe, such as Reservoir Neighbourhood House or East Preston Community Centre. Caitlin, the social worker, by having a regular presence at each place, uses that trust we've built with community members to then provide services to the local community. What's particularly of use to me as well is that the program helps to build organisational capacity. So often Caitlin will help to mentor my team members in terms of how to deal with complex situations and how to meet diverse needs. It also means that we can expand our service delivery in partnership with Diverse.
Thank you, Craig. So why do we still need the program? The number of people experiencing complex and multiple issues is growing. Those issues have doubled in the last 18 months. We know the program works and it fills a gap in a service delivery environment which is overstretched, increasingly automated, remote or specialised. Program funding ends in February of 2025. We really value our strong partnership with Council and Council's support of this program to date. And whilst the next Council plan is being developed, we ask for $54,000 for the program to continue to September 2025. This is a program which has an amplifying effect and builds individual, organisational and community capacity, resourcefulness and resilience. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. We'll go on to, is it Auntie Esme and Franco? Thank you. Oh, and sorry, I'll just, can we get Councillor Rennie back in the room, please? Thank you. Auntie Esme, you've got 3 minutes. Please go ahead.
First of all, I want to acknowledge country. I'm on the land of the Wurundjeri people and I pay respects to their elders past and present. And I'll just remind everyone that today is Mabo Day, which is fantastic. And I just want to say that we've got unfinished business. We have an unfinished building. It's an Aboriginal Women and Girls Centre and it is one of its kind in Australia, actually. Not in Victoria, not in this part, but in Australia. And it's an innovative investment that we've put our time and effort into. You guys have supported us. Thank you for your support. You've been amazing. I want to thank every single councillor for that and the mayor. But we need to finish it. It's unfinished. It's an eyesore. We have girls now playing for Fitzroy Stars Football and Netball Club. They are coming on Sundays. We have both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal girls playing there. They come on Sundays and they use men's change rooms. It's unacceptable. We know that we want to finish this also for our unisex gym for the guys. We don't want to leave them out. We want to have a centre where women and girls can gather. We know this has been a bad year for family violence, for the things that have happened to women, terrible things that have happened. And this centre is meant to not alleviate that as much as to give women strategies and skills and support they need, but also for families, for the girls. Right now, up in Shepparton, the Rumballara Football and Netball Club is opening the Monaro Centre, a beautiful centre. If you have a look online, you can see it. Worth $21 million. $21 million. The only other Aboriginal football and netball club in Victoria is Rumballara, and we're the other one. There's no other Aboriginal football clubs in the state of Victoria, and we would like to be treated in the same way. We go around to all the other clubs, all the other football clubs, amazing facilities. Come to our club. All we've had put at our club in the last, since I've been there as president and before that, is to upgrade the current building that was there for the guys' change rooms. Upgrade it, that's all. So unfinished business, a great opportunity for all of us, because this services the whole community, not just our community. We have people coming every time we play the opposition. They're not Aboriginal opposition, they're non-Aboriginal opposition. And we also have non-Aboriginal people at our club, non-Aboriginal families who come and play for us. So this is an opportunity for us to finish something that is unfinished business. Thank you for the opportunity. I've got to go and babysit. Sorry.
Thank you, Auntie Esme. And we'll next go on to Hunter Cullen. Please come to the lectern. Hunter, you have 3 minutes.
Hi. I'm mostly here today to highlight the stuff we've been doing in the Families, Youth and Children strategy. First of all, I want to say that the council documents are very confusing as somebody who's never really looked into them before. My understanding is the youth budget is pretty much the same as in previous years. But we've obviously been working on this Families, Children, Youth strategy and identified there's a lot of things that could be added and done in the area. And I've suggested things before and been told that there's not enough in the budget. Things like having like a dinner night for young people at a later time in the evening, and it's just a whole heap of other things. I've given some documents that we've been working on, and there's a number of things that specifically I've been interested in doing. So a few of them is like microwaves in the libraries is something that I think would be really cool. There's so much places that I would like to be able to study in the library for hours and then be able to have a hot lunch and things like that, and just have a space where I can do that for the whole day. There's activity. I've put together a long booklet. You can have a look, and it's in order of easiest things to do. So that's one of the easy things to do. I think it wouldn't cost a lot of money. Even just putting a booklet together of all the activities in the area for young people, there isn't really anything like that. There's a lack of collaboration with other institutions in the area to make the youth services a very cohesive thing. And there's not that many school holiday activities that youth services does, and I've suggested an example of a council that does that really well for the school holiday. So I just think if youth services was given a larger budget, there's a lot of extra things they can do, and there's a lot of things that can be done, or that they can sort of go around a few different areas of the budget, but yeah, there's some youth service specific ones. My other issue I wanted to bring up was about the Preston market and public acquisition. There's nothing in the budget related to that at all. We had 30,000 signatures in support of the Preston market, and in particular, public acquisition. It's clearly the most popular issue in the area, and if the council was democratic, that would be a priority of the budget, probably the major priority of the budget to reflect the community will. And I just wanted to bring attention to that too.
Thank you very much, Hunter. So that's the end of my list, but I'm going to go back and check in case anyone's arrived since I last asked. Is Kath Skidmore in the audience? No. Okay, and can I double check for Carlos Abdallah? No. Okay, that's fine. So thank you very much, everyone, for your submissions. And we will now go on to community members who've made a submission.
So, Mayor, there's people that have indicating.
People who haven't. What is your name? Sorry, Janine, we thought that you weren't attending, but if you're here, please come to the lectern and make your 3-minute submission. Thank you. And you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, Mayor and Council members and the public. I'd like to make a proposal that the Darebin Council extend the bike lanes on Darebin Road from Station Street to the Darebin Creek bike path. Currently, my daughters drive our cars to Narrandere Stadium for the netball because our current bike path on Darebin Road ends at Station Street. And it's not that far to go a little bit more and they'd be there. I know that they'd have to install more bike ramps so that you can lock up your bike, but we live not that far from that stadium. And I mean, like on a very busy day, on a Saturday, there are lots of cars that exit that parking and cause a lot of congestion. So if more local people like us could ride to this stadium, then more people had the opportunity to participate in sport. Also, it would be great to be able to ride to the Darebin Creek bike path as they can ride to Northland. I believe that this would be a really good submission and important to that we extend that that bike path. I think that this proposal could be funded because the Darebin Council have made a proposal of actually removing lanes on or off-street parking on Victoria Road to make a bike path that goes all the way down. Well, I've lived off Victoria Street for a total of 30 years, and we've got an excellent bike path that goes north and south. And I'm 52, and my husband is 51, and our 3 kids have all been able to ride up and back. Hearing other people's submission tonight, like, why are we spending more money in this particular area? We are actually very well serviced. We've got like the Narrandere Stadium being built. We've got the aquatic pool. I don't know whether the Darebin Council have done that deliberately, but we have got very good services. That sort of bike paths, you know, could be extended all around Darebin. So whatever you do, don't, I'm just saying, you don't need to spend more money on that particular street. It would be great to have those current bike paths everywhere so I could ride around. So that's why my proposal is that we do that to get to Narrandere Stadium, but otherwise spend the money elsewhere because people like myself are very well serviced in that area. And I don't know if the funding is attracted because we're high income earners in that particular pocket, but after hearing some of these submissions this evening, I think some of the other areas need some focus. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Janine. And can I check if there's anyone in the audience? What was your name? Joanna, hang on. Yes, we do have Chloe listed. So, Joanna, are you speaking on her behalf? Yes, that's fine. Please come to the lectern. And Chloe, if you wouldn't mind just providing your surname for the record, thank you.
Me? Oh, Margiolis. Do I need to spell that for you?
Yes, please.
Margiolis.
Thank you very much. And please go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Beautiful. Thank you. Good evening. I'm a member of the Preston Athletic Club and I'm here today to speak on behalf of the users of the Edwards Lake Park Athletic Track who believe there is a need for improved lighting. I'd like you all to take a moment and consider why outdoor sporting facilities have lights. The answer to this question is simple. We can't safely participate in any form of sport at night, whether it be competitively or recreationally without appropriate lighting. Unfortunately, the athletics track that I use daily, located at Edwards Lake Park, is shrouded in darkness. This state-of-the-art track is the only track in Melbourne's northern suburbs that is easily accessible to all members of the public and is heavily utilised during daylight savings hours by Preston Athletic Club, Preston Little Athletics Club and the general public. Individual and club concerns over safety means that the track is being heavily underutilised during non-daylight saving hours. I've come here today to ask the Council to invest $15,000 of its proposed capital works budget to conduct a feasibility assessment for a lighting upgrade so that in future we can have lights which will enable everyone in the community to safely use this track. In its current state, it's extremely difficult and at times impossible to see other users and potential hazards. Being able to see hazards will increase people's confidence that they can use the track safely, helping to attract more people. Whilst it's currently unsafe for members of the general public to use the track with the existing infrastructure, it also plays a major role in making women in particular feel uncomfortable and unsafe. It's been well documented that women are more likely to not participate in physical activity when they feel unsafe in an environment, something which is clearly evident at our own track. The Council states on its website that it's a key supporter of the Victorian Government's Change Our Game campaign and wishes to help increase female participation in sport. However, it currently fails to provide a safe space at the track for women to participate in physical activity. As stated on the Council website, gender should not limit your ability to take part in sport or any other aspect of community life. Women have a right to feel safe and participate in sport, and the Darebin City Council has a responsibility to ensure that that basic right is met. As a non-contact sport, athletics allows people with a range of disabilities to compete in a safe, equitable environment. The Victorian athletics community is proud of its ability to support and include para-athletes in competitions. Sadly, many of the para-athletes who would use this track at Edwards Lake Park have been alienated by not having appropriate lighting at the track. For para-athletes, having virtually no lighting is an immense safety risk, as it is extremely difficult for them to adjust their equipment to avoid hazards and collisions. After the resurfacing of the track, Athletics Victoria and Race Running Australia identified the track as the perfect location to develop a Northern Metro race running group for athletes with disabilities. However, the lack of lighting meant that it was ruled out as a venue, as it was deemed too unsafe to conduct sessions. By not having appropriate lighting at the track, we're discriminating against and alienating a part of our community that is already struggling for participation in sport. I'd encourage you to look at the photos that we've provided to you and ask yourselves if you'd be happy and feel safe to participate and train at the track under the current situation and conditions, and if not, then why is it okay for us to do so? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And can I check, is there anyone else? And what's your name? Let me just check. Yes, please come to the lectern. You've got 3 minutes for your submission. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor, respected councillors and the submission committee of Darebin Council. Having heard so many of the other submissions, I feel that they clearly deserve, or they certainly warranted far more than what I have about to submit, but nonetheless, as a summer tenant of the Sullivan Reserve in Reservoir, I think it's well worth noting some of the challenges we have. But firstly, before I do, to the Darebin Council in particular and within Leisure Services, which we've been acquainted with since 2001, we've had nothing but great working relationship, and just wish to acknowledge that first and foremost. And that has certainly continued as the allocated clubhouse that we currently have at Blakeston Reservoir. Some of the wonderful facilities which is worth mentioning is the clubhouse itself, the ample parking, and of course the many change rooms that we have, which caters for all men and women to attend and to play cricket over there. The submission is mainly regarding our cricket pitch that we currently have, which is outdated of more than 10 years. The current width of our cricket pitch is of 1.8 metres, and the required or the standard size is meant to be 2.4 metres. The North Metro Cricket Association that we are involved with, they have, in our submission, they have given a document which highlights the importance of an upgrade of this cricket pitch. And further to that, there's been umpire reports within that highlighting some of the dangers, as the pitch itself being so outdated, it has sunken in. The challenge that poses, apart from obviously playing on that, is the fact that we can't further expand and use a great facility, even taking the Honourable Nathan Lambert in February this year showcasing the wonderful clubhouse we had. He also noted that the sunken pitch as such over time has, I guess, declined some of our proposals previously where we would like to host finals, which we may not be participating in, etc., or also to have women's cricket there on a Sunday, considering we have the resources and expertise to host such matches, but we can't purely be due to the pitch size, I suppose. So we would certainly like and would appreciate if due consideration could be given, so we could further expand to that, and of course to the neighbouring primary schools in particular, where we could hold programs such as the Cricket Blast as well. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And last call, is there anyone in the audience who's registered to submit that hasn't submitted yet? No. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for your submissions. And we now have community members who have made a submission in relation to the special rate levy renewal. And we have 2 submitters for this item who are attending virtually. So when I call your name, please turn on your microphone and camera to address the committee, and you'll each have 2 minutes to make your submission. So Christine, would you like to turn on your camera and make your submission?
Yes, hello. Good evening to everyone. So I'm here to represent the Melbourne Smart Clinic, which is a practice in Northcote at 184 High Street. And this submission is to allow the above business to opt out of paying the special rates levy or to be charged at a lesser rate, essentially half. So these are the arguments for this submission. So the address above has been classified by the Darebin Council as enjoying a secondary special benefit, and there is no clarification what those secondary benefits are, and to date no evidence if any benefit at all has been incurred by this business. This business routinely surveys its new clients about how and where they found the business, and the responses we get are through Google search, referral from existing clients, and because the person lives locally. So there is no mention of the business having been discovered through any local event or activity linked to the Northcote Business Association, which benefits from this special rates levy. Our business offers professional services, essentially we're dental practice. An increasing number of visitors from other suburbs through activities from the Northcote Business Association, like Northcote Rise, is unlikely to see an increase in attendance of the business, as most people would most likely attend a dental practice closer to their residential location. So visitors from other suburbs are unlikely to increase our business. Events organised by the Northcote Business Association, such as the Northcote Rise, are more suitable for businesses offering entertainment or hospitality services. People do not attend these kinds of events in the hope of attending a dental practice. Furthermore, as a dental practice, we cannot set up a street store to showcase our services, nor can we give discounts or special deals for attendance on that day of the event. So essentially, also events such as the Northcote Rise are usually held on weekends, Sundays, and we do not operate on weekends. So in conclusion, given the above arguments, there is very little evidence that our business will benefit from activities organised through the Northcote Business Association. And since council rates are meant to provide essential services and benefit the business, in this situation, I do not see how paying the special rates levy will benefit us in any way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christine. And I'll now ask Nick Lahanas to please turn on your camera and audio, and you have 3 minutes to make your submission. Thanks, Nick. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm very new to this because I'm just acquired a new business in Station Street, Fairfield, so just trying to get my head around all the information that's been thrown our way. From what I can understand from the special rates levies, I think it should be something that should be put in place to support small businesses, especially in these very difficult times that we're encountering as of late, due to all the financial stress placed on families and organisations. Fairfield has got a very strong history. I think it was established back in 1840. I think it's definitely a suburb that would benefit from having some support from the Darebin City Council. Business owners there are suffering. There's many businesses that have gone under that are struggling at the moment. Assisting through a special rate for those businesses, I think, would definitely complement not only the shop owners, but obviously the community around it that supports Fairfield. It is very close community environment there. And I just suppose I'm just saying that if there's something that the council can do to support the small businesses, whether that's through concessions in their rates or whether that's through advertising and promoting the area, to go back to where, you know, Fairfield was an iconic suburb back in the 1800s. That's all I need to offer.
Thank you, Nick. Is that everything?
That's everything. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And thank you to all of our submitters. We appreciate you making the time to address the committee this evening. And councillors, I believe, I'll just check what the motion is. Thank you. Councillors, we have a motion on the screen, which is receiving and noting the written and verbal submissions, thanking submitters and referring them to the council meeting to be held on the 24th of June. So, councillors, do I have a mover for this motion? Councillor McCarthy, and a seconder, Councillor Rennie. And I'll put this one straight to the vote. Also, all those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. And we are now at item 8, the close of meeting. As there is no other business to consider this evening, I'd like to say thank you and good night to councillors, officers, members of the public in attendance and our viewers live streaming tonight's meeting. And I declare the Hearing of Submissions Committee closed at 7:14 p.m. and I'll now ask for the live stream to cease. Thank you.